Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Superman and Lois Season 2 review series. And today I'm going to be talking about episode 14, War Bizzare, which I have just finished watching, and this episode was actually really good. I really enjoyed this one a lot. This was a very different kind of episode that we're used to seeing, as we are now building up towards the Season 2 finale of the show. And I have to say that Season 2 has been absolutely tremendous, equally as brilliant as Season 1. Slightly different, of course, but at the same time, the action hasn't let up. It just continues to keep getting better and better every single week. And once again, as I said, this show just continues to surpass my expectations, and everything I want to see in a Superman DC show, we are getting it, and then some. So, before we get into talking about episode 14, I'm just going to give a little quick recap of what's happened so far. So, basically what we've seen so far is Ali has now merged with her inverse self, and she's kind of become like a parasite. Not like the Rudy Jones parasite from the Superman comics and cartoons. A little bit different, but more on a godlike scale, shall we say. Her master plan, as we all know, is she wants to merge people with their inverse self to become whole again. She takes it to the extreme, as we've seen, and for those who remember who saw episode 13, we saw her in space bringing both her inverse world and Earth Prime, and she wants to merge both worlds into one. Therefore, everyone's doppelgangers will merge with the human side, making them whole. So we kind of got to see that as well. And another big twist in this master plan of Ali's is she drained every single bit of Superman's powers, effectively making him a normal person. So it's not a case of whereas Rudy Jones's parasite touches, the drain is only temporary and Superman is back to normal in like 24 hours. No, this was actually permanent. So this set up for a very interesting episode 14. So that's kind of what's been happening so far. And also, as we know already, Lana now knows the truth. And, you know, she's juggling with that revelation that Clark is actually Superman, while trying to juggle with the fact that, you know, that all of these strange going-ons is all going on around her. So there's a lot going on in Season 2, and there was plenty going on in this episode. And as I said, this was really good. And the way this episode ended really sets up for an epic and explosive Season 2 finale. So, with that all said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about episode 14, War Bizzare. So, this episode pretty much picks up where we left off from the end of episode 13, where we see Clark is pretty much been in a coma, and he recovers, and he's taken back home to Smallville with Lois, where he tries to recover and try to regain his powers to no avail. And he's concerned that his body is not absorbing any yellow solar energy. And he has John Henry Irons take him to the fortress to speak with his AI Kryptonian mum, Lara L, in the hopes of trying to learn how to regain his powers. And she pretty much explains to him that it could take months, it could take weeks, possibly even years. And we also see that the sun starts to turn red, but it also turns into a cube, kind of similar to what we saw in the inverse world, where their sun is cubed, and their world is a cube as well. So it looks like Ali has already started her sick plan to merge both worlds into one. And also in this episode we saw Sam Lane is insisting that everybody keep the full scope of what's going on a secret from the general public, to avoid possible panic. Lois and Chrissy brief Lana on what's truly taking place, and we see the doppelganger version of Lana from the inverse world menacingly approaches the Kent farm looking for Superman, but is driven back by Steel before deciding to free the inverted Jonathan Kent from his prison cell. And we also see Jordan get quite a bit of action in this episode as well, as he goes at it with the evil version of Lana. And in the aftermath, Clark and everyone deduce that Ali is in space between both worlds and using the powers that she absorbed from Superman to completely, fully merge both worlds. Steel decides to take it upon himself to stop her once and for all. We then see Superman and Lois go to a town hall meeting where Lana shares details about the merger and the loss of Superman, with former Mayor George Dean leading the townspeople to react with hostility. This unrest is put to bed when Superman arrives on the scene to assure that Lana, as the mayor, is telling the truth and that she has everyone's best interests at heart. In the confusion, Jordan Kent takes Sarah Cushing away to speak with her privately, only to be attacked by the inverted Lana and Jonathan Kent. This was really good. Jordan, he hasn't fully got Superman's powers, but, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, so I quite enjoyed this one a lot. We see Steel locks Natalie out of her new armor to keep her out of harm's way before modifying his own suit so it can handle extra-dimensional energies. He ventures into the unknown about the other half of the show's dynamic duo, so Steel decides to go alone. Steel fires upon Ali in the space between universes, but discovers that his weapons appear to have no effect, and she easily defeats him, leaving cut off from support back to Earth. We then see a one-sided battle occur as Jordan single-handedly holds his own against the inverted Lana and Jonathan, long enough for Natalie to figure out how to override her father's lockdown protocol, and arriving on the scene at the nick of time, Natalie works with Jordan to incapacitate their inverted opponents after the inverted Jonathan attempts to choke out Superman. Both inverted versions are taken into custody by the military. Sarah, who witnessed Jordan's display of superpowers, is angry that her mother kept her ex-boyfriend's secret from her all along. This argument is tabled when the merger begins to take place, as everything starts to flicker and different objects start to become backward versions of the inverted worlds, as we start to see the two worlds starting to slowly come together. And that's how we end episode 14. Overall, as I said, this episode was actually really good. Very interesting to see that, Clark is dealing with the fact that he's powerless. So we got to see other people step up. But we also, Superman did play a big role in this episode, but in a different way. Although he didn't play a physical role in this episode due to not having any powers, he played an emotional role. Once again, inspiring people to have hope and pray that everything will work out for the best. So in that sense, this episode actually really delivered on that, and seeing Jordan mixing it up with everyone was a lot of fun, so I quite enjoyed that. And still going up to try and confront Ali as she's trying to merge both worlds into one was quite cool, so I'm interested to see how John Henry Irons is going to survive that. But like I said, didn't have anything bad to say about this episode, and this episode was a lot of fun. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 14? Did you enjoy it? How do you think John Henry will survive? Do you think he'll be able to make his way back to Earth? And how do you think Superman is going to get his powers back? And also, do you think Ali will be successful in merging both Earth Prime and the Inverse world into one whole universe? And also, how do you think the Season 2 finale is going to play out? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will be back next time for the final edition of the Superman and Lois Season 2 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 15, the Season 2 finale, which I'm very much looking forward to, especially with the way this episode played out and the way this episode ended. And I'm also curious to see how Sarah is going to react to the revelation that Jordan now has powers. So, should be a very fun and interesting season 2 finale. So, can't wait to see it. So, until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.